Good rebound by Washington after that nice defensive stop. And Paul Artadi once again producing a ton of energy here for San Miguel.
And segueing into a Handy Fix 30-second timeout brought to you by Handy Fix. First aid ng bakay mo, Bonzol, Sealed Sol. This capacity crowd beginning to roar here. And this is something you don't want to see happen too often to your John Luchigo.
And he's just trying to make sure that the momentum is stopped and that they finish out this quarter on a positive note. Jay Washington has had 10 rebounds already.
Aside from getting a great feed, and here comes that last delivery.
Talked about the rebounding dominance of Ginebra against San Miguel in the initial two meetings that they've faced, but here you can get a glimpse that San Miguel has really emphasized working on the rebounding spots. That's why kung di ako nagkakamali, lamang sila rito in the rebounding battle against Ginebra.
Top of the keyhole screen by Hatfield for Helterbrand. Intel free for a three. Right in front of the San Miguel bench.
And the reaction of the crowd says it all. We're back to square one.
And Magumar John is ready to chat with JJ Helterbrand.
JJ, after setting up in a couple of games, you come off the bench and spark big runs for the second game in a row. How far along are you from getting your groove back?
Well, my teammates been carrying me all conference, so I'm just really trying to come out there and give it all I can. Whether I'm injured or not, I'm just gonna go out there and try to give it my best and help them out.
Back to square one, 43 apiece. What do we expect in the second half?
Same as the first half. Go hard and just try to outplay them.
Thanks for your time, JJ. Good luck the rest of the way. We got to take a short break. Newswatch comes up, and then Coach Ronnie breaks down the numbers.
We're a tug of war. The knot is right in the middle, and both sides are still pulling and yanking at it, and still nobody has really had a decided edge in the game. Both have had their runs, and both have made changes and adapted along the way.
And this is just a perfect illustration of how these two coaches have prepared for the series. Both teams evenly match. This series is too close to call, and the second half promises to be another close one here between San Miguel and Ginebra.
And don't you notice, assistant coaches are going bananas kasi nakita nila sa tape yan di ba?
Kailangan.
Kailangan.
Trabaho sila.
Trabaho. Okay, first quarter or first half of play, the scoring did not usually come from the usual suspects.
That's correct. Lalong-lalo para sa Ginebra, ang bumulusok sa first quarter ay si Enrico Villanueva, who fired 9 points for the Gin Kings.
And JC Intel was also part of the early surge of Barangay Ginebra, energizing the team with that and had a 3-point shot earlier. JJ Helterbrand also had his contributions.
We talked about energizing the team. The second unit of San Miguel had a lot to say about that. But nung nakalamang ang San Miguel, itong si JJ Helterbrand naman ang nagdagdag ng panibagong sigla for the Ginebra Kings.
J-Wash had that close-range connection. And then suddenly, Sunday Salvacion and then later Paul Artadi started the entry of the, how would you call this? The reinforcements.
Yes, the high-energy players getting the job done for San Miguel before that first half was over. But of course, Ginebra had the last say in that first half, courtesy of that three-pointer coming from the Rocket, JC Inta.
We mentioned that the score is tied, and you'll notice that some of the figures are really very close to each other.
Everything is close in this ballgame so far. 48% shooting for San Miguel, 46.7% for Ginebra. San Miguel with a slight lead in terms of rebounds, fast break points, slight lead for San Miguel as well. Bench scoring goes in favor of Ginebra. So far, no significant numbers that will really put the advantage arrow in any of these two teams. And let's see what adjustments will be made by these two coaches heading into the second half.
Nobody in double digits in the first half.
At kung titignan mo talaga, this is a well-defended game. No? Very defensive approach is what these two coaches have done here. And let's see how well the players will be able to execute their game plans in the second half.
Buti na lang, magkasama. Muntik ako malaglag.
Quick reaction ka.
Ito kasi hindi tinasabi ko ilang time. Basta tinaas yung kamay. Ganun daw. O, sige, ganun muna tayo. We'll be back with the second half of game number 1 of this series.
Bautista, dahil inaanayahan ko po kayong bumili ng aking bagong album under Viva Records. Ito po ang nagmamahal. Puro Tagalog po ang mga awitin dito at sana po makakuha kayo ng copy. And for my schedules, pwede nyo pong i-check ang aking Facebook account, Mark Bautista, or aking website, www.markbautista.com. Continue to watch PBA only here on Solar TV. Only the best play here.
Alam mo, kala ko si Mark Bautista yung singer.
Yes.
Habang kumakaway ito. Isa na naman point guard. May figura point guard eh, no?
Pwede.
Ha? Pwede. Got a good sized crowd here. I'm sure Major Kevin Balaguyan and Mr. June Mirasol, who are also PBA fans, enjoying the action here. Okay, if you're, I know Magu is going to give us a great report later on. If you're Ato Agustin, what would be an area of concern for you going into the start of the second half?
Well, probably the production of Arwin Santos on offense. While on defense, yung bulusok ni Enrico, ayaw na nila maulit, and he wants to make sure that not only are they should they contain the small men, but likewise the frontline production of Ginebra.
You know that Arwin Santos will suddenly explode here because he did not do much damage in the first half of play. Same thing goes for Cabagnot. So if you're Jongyu Chico, you know that something might be brewing between these two as Enrico Villanueva continues to shine.
11 points in the game so far for Enrico Villanueva to lead the way in scoring for Ginebra. Rotation has to be quicker here to contain itong si Enrico Villanueva in attacking the basket.
Arwin Santos 3 points in that first half. Cabagnot 2 points in just 8 minutes of play. Also Basela occupied a lot more minutes, I suppose. Yes, 2 minutes more.
Very tentative attack coming from Alex Cabagnot.
Here's Tubid who gets the ball back. Miller decides to pass off. Tubid who loads up. And the rebound controlled by Dorian Peña.
Kanina, Seb, binanggit natin yung cause for concern ni Coach Ato Agustin, yung kay Arwin Santos sa production. But for Ginebra, it's Tubid and Willie Miller who have been not showing significant numbers so far on offense for Ginebra.
0 for Miller so far.
0-5 from the field.
Yeah.
Tubid only has 3 points on a single conversion from the 3. Looking at that last penetration by Alex Cabagnot, the strength of Alex Cabagnot's game really on offense is to penetrate that lane and dish off to an open teammate.
Yun. Ako, I'll pass it to an open teammate named Magu Marjon. Go, Magu.
Thank you, Sav. You know, while Barangay Ginebra was satisfied with how they played the first half, assistant coach Juno Saular tells us they just got to put a little extra in everything. Extra effort in sprinting back, boxing out, and extra effort on the defensive end. They also reminded the boys to expect San Miguel to come out stronger. That's why there is no room to relax. Over at the other side, assistant coach G. Abanilla tells us they understand the turnovers they committed in the first half because of their long layoff. They will have some defensive adjustments here, especially against the pick and roll. And Coach G tells us they are okay on all departments. They just need to be more aggressive and match Barangay Ginebra's intensity. Sab?
Alam mo, social ka, Magu, ha? Magaling ka na mag-report. Yung pangalan mo nasa scoreboard pa. ako tayo parang hindi tayo lumalabas yung pangalan doon. No? Iba eh, no? Parang part of the game talaga yung pangalan niya, no? Nainggit, ano? Kaumpisa lang ng taon, inggitero na. But it's a good report coming on as usual from Magu Martinez. Cortez slips. Miller says hello.
Donovan Tiveros tried to give up that preemptive foul. But Willie Miller finally getting to the scoring board here for Ginebra. Ito, nagbibigay na ng foul dito si Alex Cabagnot. Sumalit hindi napituan. And what was the cue for Willie Miller to get his first 2 points of the game?
I'm going to ask you something. You and I have done a couple of games through the years, collegiate and professional, as well as the PBL. From the coach's perspective, how tiring is it after the game? I'm sure when you win, you're happy. How tiring is it to look at the game as you're making adjustments and looking at everything? How difficult is it?
It's very taxing dahil you have to do it as soon as possible. Hindi mo pwedeng patagalin, lalong-lalo na rito. These two teams
Is
will
it
play.
almost like playing also?
Mas taxing dahil more on sa mind eh.
That's saka naisip yung iba, marami
ka masyadong gustong tuunan. Of course, sisimplifyin mo yan dahil kung hindi mo naman mako-cover lahat. At itong teams na to, na nakikita nyo ngayon, maglalaro ng 3 laro in 5 days. And you will have less time to prepare. Kaya yung mahabang preparasyon for the series,
good point,
enough na yon for the 4 teams in the semis to account for the entire road here in the Final Four.
Yeah, because I know you're sitting there, but you're writing and you're constantly thinking. As I look at the assistants, there's a chess game that's constantly going on. And it's almost, I guess, like a soccer game. As you take a look at the big cube at the Big Dome, the biggest indoor LED installation in the country today. Custom built from the United States from the makers of the same LED scoreboard of the Miami Heat and the Orlando Magic. Boy, ganyan tayo kalaki. Di bali ako malaki na, ikaw ganyan tayo kalaki. Okay. So if you, Alaneta naman laging known for their scoreboard.
Yes.
And this one is a huge
probably the best in the country.
No? Oh, yes, indeed. Lucky. Pwede nyo na lang ang monitor ko. In the meantime, San Miguel beginning to wax hot here. They're ahead 51-48. J-Wash connecting for 14.
6 of them coming here in the third. 6 out of the 8 points of San Miguel here in the third, courtesy of this blitz from Jay Washington.
Cortez and Villanueva playing the two-man game right of the right flank, rather. And it lands in the hands of Don Hontiveros.
We talked about a defensive-oriented game. And what about the job done here by Arvin Santos in containing Willie Miller?
And Peña was left in the basement because somebody tied him down. And it's Villanueva.
It always pays dividends if you make sure that your other teammates will be a threat offensively. It will force the other team to pay attention and defend the entire five men. And ito, Nico Villanueva pleading his case.
With a smile at that. Third foul on Villanueva.
Hindi shooting foul. Yun ang sinasabi niya. Hindi na-release.
Yes. And I think he gets his wish. Third team foul against Ginebra. San Miguel Beer carrying one. By the way, these 4 teams that met today will meet anew on Friday, will change places. These two teams will play in the first game come Friday, and TNT and BMEC. That series is now tied as Miller bangs it against the glass.
Using a slight screen to get that difficult jumper leaning to his left.
Just to tell you about the score earlier, it was 88-87. Down the wire it went. Big win by BMEC, escaping the tenacious run in the end game by TNT. This game is at 53-50, by the way. Whoa!
Bagnot needed that basket a while ago as a shot in the arm. Because of that basket, now he forces a turnover. And nakita ko pa rito, Seb, yung sa mga numero in their first 2 meetings, Ginebra's average close to 21 turnovers. Like the 21 turnovers against San Miguel. But in the first half ng laro ngayon, they only had 7. Like that 6. Pero ngayong third quarter, 3 or 4 turnovers lang aking nabibilang.
Cabagnot joins the party. 7 points.
5 of them coming here in the third. Fingers to the left, fingers to the right. Coach Otto Agustin happy right now with a 6-point lead.
Is he talking to Gabe Freeman, who's at the right where we are? I think he is.
Maybe.
That will not work. This will not work. Punched out.
We'll also talk about San Miguel negating the effectiveness of a Rudy Hatfield. Only 4 rebounds for Hatfield with 0 on the scoreboard.
Helterbrand with a heist. Does it last? Downstairs, upstairs, downstairs, upstairs.
And the crowd just laughs at the fast and the furious.
And suddenly this game coming to a different level as a team-up that has been one of the favorites of the Barangay Faithful has connected. This will connect as well.
San Miguel has been out-rebounded by Ginebra in the first 2 meetings, but not today. 27-24 in terms of rebounds in the first half. Peña with that nice smile, getting the second possession of this 3-point shot miss. Coming from Washington, and Rudy Hatfield will be giving up a 3-point play opportunity.
Peña can't complete it, and it's nobody but white shirts.
Biggest lead of the game for San Miguel stands at 6 points.
Here's Villanueva. He's making up for the absence of Eric Menk in a big way. Menk, I think, is suited up.
That so far hasn't seen action. Yep. Well, San Miguel is trying to defend the small men of Ginebra. They're trapping, they're showing really hard. But yung rotation kay Enrico has been late, and that's why he already has 13 points in today's